Hey everybody, Invisiblekatana here with my review for My Dad the Bounty Hunter Season 1, the Netflix original series. Of course, with this being a full season review, there will be spoilers, but to give like a quick spoiler-free thing before getting into like the full summation of like the entire season, I love this show. I thought it was really well done. I went through like the whole series. I pretty much watched the whole thing by myself. I'm trying to get my oldest daughter to watch it. My youngest, she's only 2, so it's like she'll watch whatever. But my oldest, she says she enjoyed the show, so we watched like a couple episodes. She's really into Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, which is also really great. Highly recommend that as well. I'm gonna do a review on that right after this, actually. I liked it. I thought it was really well done. It's definitely the type of show where it's like, it's for both kids and adults. The artwork on it, like the animation, is insane. Like when I first saw the trailer for it, I actually thought it was a movie. I just assumed like, oh, it's a Netflix original film as like one of 1 trillion because they just love spending money. And I was really shocked when I saw like a random post on Twitter and they mentioned, season 2s don't write themselves. I was like, holy crap. I thought this was, I thought it was just a movie that they put out. So it was really crazy to see that and like watching 10 episodes of this, and they were fairly decent in length. I'm sure, I didn't check the times on them, but some were, of course, were shorter than others. But all in all, it's still 10 episodes. So it's still definitely more than, like 90 minutes or anything like that. So I was very surprised by just like the sheer like talent on display. Like it was kind of like a lot like Arcane, very different art style, but it was a lot like that where it was like, oh no, this probably took quite a minute to get the animation to like this level of quality. Like there are some shots where I swear it was like, there's no way that that was animation, and it was just like a 4K shot that they just put in because it only took like 2 seconds to show. And I'm like, there's no way that that was a fake thing. That had to just be real. And they just took a picture or took some video or something, and they were like, we'll just throw it in real quick, and you can't tell the difference. I'm like, there's no way that that was animation. So they have some shots like that that are really well done. I think the story is really good. It's obviously kids finding out that their dad's a bounty hunter, and kind of just the story of them kind of bonding over this absolutely insane experience. They're younger, so you have the youngest that this guy has is a son, and then his oldest child is his older daughter. And so it's kind of the classic thing. It's the parents are split up, but maybe there's a chance for reconciliation. And it's like, he's always gone for work and he's always missing out on stuff. So like his youngest kid hasn't experienced a lot of the stuff his older kid has experienced. So his youngest kid is still like, hey, it's dad. But his daughter is kind of like, meh, it's that dude who's always kind of a crappy dad who's missing out on stuff. So I was like, okay, it's interesting how they're kind of playing things. Definitely it's a show about a black family. Definitely there's some stuff in here that's really funny, for sure, made by like black people. So I thought that was super funny. It was like there's a scene where he talks about gas, and there's a thing he was about to say, and the delivery of that line, I was like, that was absolutely perfect, and it was really, really hilarious. So they do some amazing stuff in here, not just culture wise, but in general. I think you'd really enjoy the show. It's actually got really decent action. I think the story is really good. They've got like 2 funny moments that just had me cracking up when I was watching them. One was a reference. I won't say what the reference was, but it caught me off guard, and I thought it was really funny. Also, admittedly, I watched the entire series high, so that definitely helped. But it was those 2 specific moments I would have laughed at no matter what. And I'll get to those when I talk about like kind of the whole season. But there's just 2 specific scenes where I was just dying laughing, because I was like, I don't know who put this in here, but there were clearly like some nerdy people that made this, because they have a Back to the Future reference in here, and that wasn't even the one that made me laugh. I was like, oh, that's just a really funny one. They had another nerdy reference, which was one that made me laugh, and then they had another thing that was just so well done in like the middle of like just all this other stuff, and they just put like this random thing in here, and I was just dying laughing. It was so funny when I saw it, because I was like, I don't know who put this in here, but it was absolutely amazing. It had me dying laughing. I thought it was so funny. But the entire show was really well done. I thought the adventure that the family goes on was really cool, and I hope we get a season 2. I would love to see a season 2 of this. I think everyone should check it out, honestly. Like, it is a really well done show. Like I said, the animation is good. The more mature stuff is really well done. So like the action is really good. Obviously they're in space and stuff like that. So classic sci-fi stuff, they're going through different ships, different aliens, stuff like that, different cultures, and how different aliens interact and all that sorts of stuff. But it was really funny, like the entire way through. Like every little location they went through, something really silly happened. Like it was like the jokes were actually really good. They have they have the best wings in the galaxy, a great thing. That was a really good moment. They basically had like a space 7-Eleven, which is also like, I think that was the scene like right after the really funny scene where they had a specific line of dialogue that was really funny. So they had like space 7-Eleven, which was a nice little moment there. But the music was good. They have like quite a few songs in here that I thought were really entertaining. They end on like one of my favorite songs ever, which once again I'll get to spoilers for that, but they ended on like a very specific song, and I was like, that is awesome. Like, that was one of my favorite songs ever, and I was super happy that they threw that one in there. So It was really good. I highly recommend it. I think that's about as much as I can say. All I can do is really give it its praise. It's great. You should definitely check it out. It's got good comedy. It's got good action. The story in itself is very entertaining. The action really is serious too. Like they have some moments where I'm like, it would be interesting. I think depending on the age of your kid and, you know, obviously what they are not afraid of, they have some stuff in here that's like, that's just creepy in general. So I definitely think they had a really great balance of stuff kind of being like, you know, it's definitely a show that easily kids can watch. You know, I think technically I think they have like once, I think somebody says damn in like the last episode or something, like, so they kind of hit that very thin line where it's like, okay, there's like that extra little peak of adult nature. And I think they do that like at the very end of the show. So they definitely have some stuff where it's like, you know, you can definitely watch it as an adult and for sure enjoy it, but there's 100% stuff that's in there for kids. But at the same time, there's so much of the show that's like really serious, and like the way they play it, it's so balanced that when like the super kiddie stuff comes in, for me personally, it was just really funny because I'm like, it made it more ridiculous because of how serious the show felt. And then this like super kid moment happens, and instead of it being like the super kiddie moment, it was just like really funny because they once again do something with it specific. And I was like, it just makes it even funnier to me watching it. Whereas like this is like the kid moment, but so much of it is so serious that it's like it's almost played as a joke. But it was like a weird balance because I'm like, it's so in the middle of being very mature, or, you know, at least mature enough that when the kiddie stuff comes along, I was just like, I can't tell if it's really kiddie or if it's just a really good joke for kids and like just for the adults watching it, where it's like, this is just how ridiculous this is. And it's just funny. So either way, I think the balance is perfect. I hope we get a season 2. I would love to see what they do going forward. I think they did a great job establishing all the characters and the relationship between the dad and the kids and their mom and stuff, like just that whole family dynamic and everything out in space. I thought they did a really good job with that. They, once again, you know, just the just the Black culture element of it for sure, it, like, cannot be personified any more than the example of like the AI on the ship. Just 100%. I was like, that is the most Black culture thing that they did in the whole show, and it was absolutely hilarious. So love the whole show, highly recommend it. Black or not, it's a fantastic series. But you might be like slightly elevated if you happen to be Black. There might be some extra stuff in there for you, but highly recommend the show. That's all I can say. Once again, as far as no spoilers, but getting into it, I'll make this super quick because I don't want to like go through the entire series. I'll kind of hit my couple of points that really made me laugh. Like I said, the AI favorite part is when it was like the first moment when he argued with the kids and he made them upset, and she just came in like, I was like, that is the that was just perfect. It was perfect personification. I was like, yeah, I've heard that one before. So I thought that was funny. That was a good one. The gas station line where he was clearly about to say goddamn, and the way he delivered it, very well done. He was like, God, and then he just stopped, and I was like, yeah, this is good. This is really good. Ending on Intergalactic, fantastic. That was of course the song. Like, it was just, Intergalactic is one of the greats. So I was super happy about that. So this was something that I was confused by. I could not tell how old this dude was because they did the flashback, which is another thing that I loved about this show. Every time they would do like flashback stuff, it was all like animation stills and stuff like that. It was just full on animation. The animation looked great. So whether it was CG or 2D animation, I guess technically 3D animation is still animation, but the 2D animation looked amazing as well. I forgot to mention that non-spoiler wise, but every time they did that, where it was like, it would just be pictures or something of something that they did before, and they would just be drawn in 2D. And I was like, this is actually really cool. So all the flashbacks being in 2D were fantastic. But when they had the sequence of Terry like not going back in time, but them showing him in the past, and it was like 1995, and I was like, okay, so he's like a full-grown adult. Is he like at least 18? Because I assume you have to at least be 18 to be a bounty hunter. So I'm like, he's like at least 18, I guess. And just, it was like some stuff that they were doing, I was like, I can't really tell how old this dude is, because the references he makes, I felt were like slightly older. Like, I'm in my 30s, so obviously my kids are younger. Like my stepdaughter is older, probably around the age of his daughter in this, I guess. And I was born in 92. But I was like, okay, he doesn't seem that much older. He seems like he would be like my age, like almost like mid 30s, but his kids seem older. Like, he still could have had him younger. But once again, like in 95, he was like a full grown adult, it seems. So I was like, I cannot tell how old this dude is supposed to be, or like what the current year is supposed to be. When they just went back to like 95, I was like, I just assumed it was, 2023 or maybe 22. And then it was just like him at 95, he was like a full grown adult. And I was just like, okay, he seems like a full grown adult here. And then they show like the flashback stuff where he had like the high top cut, which is amazing. That was an amazing cut to their commercial. That was super funny. So I was just like, how old is this dude? It was so confusing to me trying to figure out how old this dude was based on like the age of his kids. And then when they did the flashback of him being like like I said, possibly just 18, but I was just like, how old is this dude? It was a little hard for me to tell, but I like the way it was handled all the way through. I thought it was a really well done show. Them doing the the Blade Runner sequence, being high and hearing that for the first time was hilarious because I wasn't expecting Blade Runner, so that made me crack up really hard. And then at the end, I think it was like the episode before last when they're on Chilean 9 and they have the soldiers and stuff and they're about to do like their final battle against the Chileans, and they get attacked because they're like, they're about to go into their final battle, but they get swarmed ahead of time. And they had the two women talking and the woman was like crying, and they cut to this like dramatic war moment where she's like, I'm freaking out, I can't do this. And the woman's like, nothing's gonna happen, like I'm not gonna leave no matter what. And she just gets grabbed, and the way she screams was like, no. And when the like spider thing threw her in the sky and she screams like, I love you, I was dying laughing. I was like, I don't know why they put in this super dramatic like love sequence where it's like, this woman who was in love with like a fellow soldier the whole time, but she never told her. Excuse me. And they're going through this moment. I was like, it just becomes so serious. And it was one of the funniest things ever. I was just like, I don't know why they threw this in the middle of this, where she's like, I'm not going anywhere no matter what. And then just the way she screamed, like, no, I was cracking up. And then, like I said, he threw in there, just like, I love you. I was dying. That was so funny to me. I was like, I don't know why they put this in here, but it was the best. So that was absolutely amazing. I absolutely loved that. So all the references were really well done. They dropped a lot of hints here and there throughout the entire series. Like they talked about, I think it was the Moog, basically the giant dogs on that one planet with like they look like water bugs. That's what it was. I couldn't remember. Like that whole time I was like, they look like something. It was like water bugs. They're just like beige water bugs. That's what it was. So that was giving me the whole time. I was like, they look like something, and I couldn't figure it out. They look like water bugs, just beige. But on that planet, they have, I really stuck with it. I only remember like Terry, and that's really, the main character. He also has my name, so I was like, yeah, easy to remember. Being Terrence, like they only call him Terrence like one time. I was like, dang, can't somebody just be like the main character and just have my name? And it's really cool because it's the same with Batman Beyond. Like they said Terrence like one time. I'm like, yeah, I get that. Everybody's always Terry in the shows. I'm like, they could just say the name. I hate when people call me Terry. That's just a personal opinion, of course, but hey, all the time in TV, I'm just like, can't just have like just the full name? I'd like that. Just a me thing. I'm not James. There's a million Jameses on TV. Terrence, that would be nice. Obviously, that's just me venting. I would just like to see it. That's all. But I like the way it was handled. What they did with the son, I thought was interesting. That was one of the hints they dropped. His buddy coming back, like the other the other partner, the old bounty hunter, that was his buddy. I thought that was cool. And him having the other team. Them obviously they'll come back. I hope we get a season 2, but they'll obviously come back. They'll find their way, and then it'll be like they'll kind of be the pseudo antagonist characters, and then you have like the conglomerate, which once again, I wouldn't have done this if it wasn't for the fact that it was clearly like kind of a black culture show. But it was a reason they made it like the tall white guy, right? Like there was a very clear reason that it was the tall skinny white dude, because there was no reason that he had to have like the sunglasses in the front, and I'm pretty sure he had like the sort of like kind of the ascot thing going. I'm like, I think that was on purpose. I'm almost 100% certain that was on purpose. And whoever did that character, amazing job. Like that was definitely a fantastic, creepy character. And that was one of the things in the show where, especially his first appearance, was so well done, where it was just like this creepy element of like, they are obviously just above and beyond anyone else in the galaxy. Like the regeneration of that stuff where like they're getting blasted and he gets hit by the car and stuff. And that was the first time he was like, that something actually hurt him, was when he got hit by the car and it exploded and it like burned him. And I was like, this is really cool. Like this is an insane villain. And the only way that they were able to even defeat him was by sticking a warp orb. I forgot exactly what they call him, but they just warp him to some random spot in space and time. And I was like, that's a good villain. And how do you kind of go about that, going forward with these characters? Because maybe that's just the species, but the way they make it seem is like he's obviously in a very high position. Maybe that entire species runs that company. Maybe there's only a few of those species about. That could be another way that they do it. But either way, I was like, that's a fantastic villain. Tall, lanky white guy stuff aside, which I just was like, that's on purpose. But I love what they did with that character. And like every time he was mad or upset was when he would do like the green blinking thing. And I was like, that's a really cool, it was, show don't tell sort of situation. Like anytime he was like kind of upset about something, he'd do like the sideways blink. And I was like, that's a good way to show that. I think that's really cool. Or when it was either when he's upset or like at the very end, I think, when his old buddy was trying to get more money and he was kind of just kicking the dude out and was like, are we good? And then he does like the side blink to be like, as a display of dominance. I was like, this is cool. I like the way that was handled. So I thought that was a cool, just visual, key for that character. And I don't know if it'll be that version. I don't know if they'll do it where like they all kind of look the same or how that's gonna play out. Hopefully season 2. But I love that character. I thought that was really well done. So I'd love to see that character come back. And obviously they can't just swarm them because that dude was like nearly impossible to kill outside of literally sending him through space just randomly. So they obviously can't just send a bunch of those enemies coming after them because they would obviously kill the family instantaneously. But I would love to see what they do with the season 2. I thought this was a fantastic show. Love the music, love the animation. Love all the different characters. Obviously they have it where he stops bounty hunting at the end, and they have kind of aligned themselves pretty much with the resistance, a resistance of sorts. They've, freed the Chileans, and I'm sure that there's more to be done with, the classic conglomerate / corporation deal out, especially across the galaxy. There's a lot that can be done there. Also, they got to give that dude back access to like the best wings in the galaxy. I was like, I know it's fake, but I was like, man, if my kids got me banned from the best, and he was ordering he ordered mango habanero hot wings. I was just like, man, if my children got me banned from the best mango habanero hot wings in the galaxy, they might get disowned. They would be like right on the edge, and it would be like, man, best wings in the galaxy, you might get disowned for that for sure. Spicy wings, I might have to let you go. But he has some in the freezer. If you watch it again, like in the first episode, they had a little bag in his freezer. I think when his son was opening up to get ice cream, he had a bag in there from the wing place. So he still got a couple, and the kids can technically go. He just can't go. But I was just like, man, that I understood his scream. I was like, I haven't even, that's not even a real concept in my life. But I was like, wow, banned from the best wings in the galaxy is super harsh. That's super effed up. So I hope they fix that for him, because that's messed up. But love the show. Would love to know your thoughts on it. So please put your comments down in the comment section below. Let me know your favorite parts about it, least favorite parts about it. Whether you ended up watching it with your kids or just kind of checking it out just to check it out. Because I definitely watched it by myself, and I was like, oh yeah, my kids will like this. I can watch it twice. I actually enjoyed it enough to be like, I could easily just watch it again with my kids, because I thought it was that well done. So I thought it was a fantastic series. And I was, once again, just from the beginning, once I found out it was a show, I was shocked, because I'm like, the animation quality looks, movie quality. And then the fact that it was consistent too. And there were some scenes where it was just like the fluidity of just how the characters moved was insane to me. I was like, wow, they did some really insane stuff with this. So I loved it all the way through. I would love to see a season 2. I really do hope that we get one. Tell your friends. I should have said this in the beginning, but tell everybody to watch this show so we can get a season 2. I think it's incredibly well done, not just for the culture, but hey, I'm sure there's some white animators. I'm sure there are tons of animators, not just black animators, everything. Everybody did a great job on this show. So definitely check it out. Like I said, I personally loved it, and would love to know your thoughts on it. So please put your comments down in the comment section below. And of course, thanks for watching.